Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. Now, one of you asked me, when are you going to get around to doing a survey of Bach's well-tempered Clavier? And the answer is, hopefully sometime before I die. But the problem with the well-tempered Clavier is, first of all, you have to deal with whether you want it on harpsichord or something else, like people have done it for organ or clavichord or spinachord or flugel, claver, strumento, something. It's been played by anything. Or do you do it on a piano? Thank God a piano is just a piano. And it works wonderfully however you do it. And here's the problem. Everyone's done it. And most people do it rather well. It's not the most heavy-duty, hot and passionate, dripping, expressive kind of music. It's mostly formal music, that is the fugues. They have feeling. They have great feeling in parts. Parts of them. But there's a certain sort of, it plays itself, I would say, structured quality to the work. And it like everything Bach wrote, it admits of such a wide range of interpretation, and it works almost no matter what you do with it. I can't think of any really bad versions of the well-tempered Clavier, and I've got dozens of them, and that's the problem. Because what are you going to do? The differences are not such as to rule one version out of court entirely, or to insist that another is supremely better for whatever reason. There's just a lot of them. And you'll say, okay, yeah, that's true of Shostakovich's Fifth Symphony. It's true of a lot of these things. Well, yes, you would be right. But the fact of the matter is the differences between performances of a big romantic orchestral piece or even a classical symphony tend to be vastly more significant in terms of the expressive success of the interpretation than in Bach's well-tempered Clavier. The stuff works right side up, upside down, in outer space, underwater. As I've always said, you could do anything with it, and it's terrific. It's absolutely terrific. So I'll get, at some point, I think, I'll get to a survey of well-tempered Clavier versions. Oh, and then there's the question of, do you do part one or part two? Or do you always put them together? It's a real job. And I'm not averse to doing a job. I've done, 1,800 videos or something. It's not the job that bothers me. It's being able to make meaningful distinctions that will help you to make choices. And that's harder. And so I'm working on it. You got to give me a chance to really work on it, because while I've reviewed well-tempered Clavier recordings individually, as a critic on Classics Today and for other media, I've never had to do a gigantic survey of what's out there. And I know that no matter what I say, you'll come up with all the ones I didn't mention anyway, and so we'll just have a big mess. And when I figure out how to do it, I promise you I will do it. In the meantime, we have Dave's Faves. And in this case, it's a harpsichord version by a period instrument specialist who I just adore. I think she is such a fantastic player, somewhat underrated, not one of the luminaries, perhaps, of the period instrument movement on major labels, because she's not on the major labels. She's on Capriccio. It's Christine Schornsheim. And Christine Schornsheim has done, she's participated with most of the major period instrument people, particularly in Germany. She's a stunning artist. I just think she's splendid. I haven't heard anything she's done that hasn't been marvelous. She's done all of the Haydn sonatas. She's done this. She did the most gorgeous recording of C.P.E. Bach, Rondos and Fantasies from the Kenner and Liebhaber series. I did a separate video all about that. Look in the C.P.E. Bach playlist. One of the things that I like so much about her is that she selects beautiful sounding instruments. Oh, that's so important. I can't begin to tell you how important it is. There are so many period instrument people who will play an instrument because it's authentic, even though it sounds like hell. And they say that because it sounds like hell, that must be authentic. Well, no. I don't accept that. I think that people back then were just as interested in playing gorgeous sounding instruments as we should be today, and as pianists often are. And as the pianists of their day, they gave a great deal of, they cared a great deal about what those instruments sounded like. Schornsheim picks beautiful instruments. I love to listen to her because I love to listen to the instruments, and that is such a big deal. In addition, she is glowingly recorded, gorgeously recorded. I mean, the piece, listening to 48 preludes and fugues, even if you break them up in little bits, can be very fatiguing to the ear. It really can be. I mean, it could really tire you out or make you want to kill somebody. But not here. It's a pleasure to listen to. You can enjoy it for as long as you like. You'll never have a problem with it. Her interpretations, generally speaking, are not full of strange, herky-jerky, hiccupy mannerisms like some period instrument people. They're expressive, but they have sweep. Her tempos are generally on the swift side. She doesn't noodle around and break the line. She's always interested in maintaining a long line, especially in the fugues, which never drag. Her preludes are of crystalline purity and loveliness. I'm generalizing now. I could talk about individual numbers in here, but I would rather stick with just general principles and tell you that if you don't know this particular cycle, and you love the well-tempered clavier, and particularly if you love it on harpsichord, I do urge you to hear it. I can also say, just in my defense, that it has been very well received in the critical community and in the Baroque keyboard community. She's a force. She's a real artist. She's got incredible artistic sensibility, and I just think this is one of the most beautiful Bach keyboard records out there. I love it. It's on 4 discs. It's on Capriccio. And it's just splendid. And if you don't know her work, there's not tons of it, but there's enough. There's plenty of it out there that you can get a good sense of it. She's worth following. I think she's a major artist. I really do. A real sensitive and recreative personality. And this is just beautiful, beautiful Bach. So that is my pick for the Well-Tempered Clavier, books 1 and 2 on the harpsichord. Christine Schornsheim and Capriccio. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.